Most Americans don't know this. But in 1924, deep in the Arizona desert, explorers found something that simply does not fit anywhere in U.S. history: a royal copper crown, designed in a style that seems thousands of miles from any known civilization. But the discovery itself is only the beginning. The story only gets stranger from here. It all started in the blistering summer of 1924. Two surveyors, a father and son team named James and Charles, were charting an isolated canyon near the Arizona-Utah border. It was a desolate place, a maze of red rock and scorching sand that even the local tribes avoided. They called it the Valley That Remembers. The surveyors weren't superstitious men. They were practical, focused on their maps and measurements. Until they found the footprints. Pressed into the ancient sandstone were tiny, almost childlike footprints. They looked impossibly old, and they formed a clear trail that led directly to a narrow, dark split in the canyon wall, a fissure barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through. Driven by curiosity, they lit their lanterns and pushed their way inside. The air grew cool and still. After a few feet, the tight passage opened up into something no one expected to find in the American wilderness. It was a chamber, perfectly carved by human hands out of the solid rock. The walls were smooth, the ceiling was high, and the silence was absolute. And there, in the back of the chamber, half buried in a drift of fine desert sand, was an object glowing softly in their lantern light. It was a crown. They carefully dug it out. It was made of hammered copper, intricate and beautiful. But the design was baffling. It was decorated with strange symbols and patterns that didn't match any known Native American art. It wasn't Aztec, it wasn't Mayan, and it certainly didn't look like anything from the Old World. It was utterly unique. When archaeologists later examined the artifact, they confirmed what the surveyors suspected. The metalwork was done using a sophisticated technique, a type of annealing and hardening that was completely unknown in ancient North America. The craftsmanship was masterful, but it had no origin. And as they soon discovered, the crown wasn't the only mystery hidden in that chamber. The walls themselves told a story. Carved into the stone were elaborate inscriptions, a gallery of symbols that deepened the puzzle. One panel showed a figure, clearly a man, sitting on a throne, wearing a crown identical to the one they had found. Another showed a long caravan of people and animals crossing a vast desert. A third depicted a massive winding river, unlike any in the immediate area. And a fourth showed a close-up of the crown, but this time with brilliant sun rays emanating from it. Experts were stumped. They couldn't categorize these symbols. They didn't belong to any known linguistic or artistic family. Some scholars, daring to speculate, claimed this was the first hard evidence of a completely unknown advanced civilization that had risen and fallen in America. Others were more cautious, arguing the crown was a ceremonial object, perhaps brought here through an ancient, forgotten trade route from a faraway land. But the strangest clue of all was hidden on a different wall, almost concealed behind a natural rock pillar. There, etched into the stone, was what looked unmistakably like a map. It showed a detailed coastline, complete with waves lapping at the shore. It showed mountain ranges. And most importantly, it showed a long voyage path marked with a series of dots, stretching across a great expanse of water and ending right in the American Southwest. At the end of the path, precisely where they were standing, was a tiny carved symbol of the crown. The implications were staggering, a theory that most mainstream historians refuse to even entertain. Did a foreign king, or perhaps a whole group of his people, successfully cross an ocean and reach North America thousands of years before recorded history? The discovery seemed to connect with fragmented local legends. Tribes in the region told a cryptic story, passed down through generations, of a man of the glowing crown who arrived from the desert long ago. The legend says he led a small, weary group of followers. He brought with him strange knowledge of metalwork and taught them new symbols, which they carved into stone before he and his people vanished as mysteriously as they had appeared. They simply walked back into the desert and were never seen again. No bodies, no settlements, no tools have ever been found, only the enigmatic crown and the silent stone chamber. What happened next is almost as mysterious as the discovery itself. In the 1930s, as word of the find began to circulate in academic circles, the government quietly took an interest. The entrance to the chamber was sealed under official orders, its exact location wiped from public maps. The related documents, notes, and photographs were classified and locked away, and the crown itself? It was moved to a private collection, its current location undisclosed to the public. To this day, the debate rages in the shadows of academia. What does the crown really represent? Was it a lost traveler who died alone in the desert? A forgotten migration that failed? Was there a small, short-lived kingdom that rose and disappeared in the vastness of the American Southwest? Or is it evidence of something even more profound? A completely missing chapter in America's ancient past? Whatever the truth is, we know one thing for sure. The copper crown exists. Its symbols still refuse to match any known culture on Earth, and its discovery brings up the real, chilling question. How many more forgotten kings and lost civilizations does America hide just beneath its sands? The story doesn't end here. The crown was just one piece of a much larger puzzle scattered across the desert. If you want the next chapter of America's forgotten civilizations, let me know in the comments. Do you want to hear the mystery of the desert tablets, or the story of the copper road builders next? Tell me what you want to explore. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more journeys into the unknown.